Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Uttu Rans. Like, share, and subscribe firstly. And today, it's the first time I'm gonna do Premier League predictions. Obviously, it's game week 12 now, but it's taken me some time to make this kind of a video. So let's get on to it immediately. So obviously, first game of the weekend we have Burnley versus Chelsea. Kicks off at 6 o'clock India time in the evening. Obviously, I think this is going to be a fascinating fixture, especially for Burnley, as the only hope for them to survive in the league is to pick up points at home, as they've obviously struggled away from home, and the home form is probably what's going to help them stay up in the Premier League. Obviously, they did get a result against Sunderland earlier in the season, and we know how well Sunderland have been doing this season, currently in the top four of the in the table. But then Chelsea, once again, Chelsea obviously they are third on the table. They would love to get these three points in this fixture, and obviously they are the favourites. And everyone does expect Chelsea do expect Chelsea to win the game as well as get the 3 points. And also it's a massive week for Chelsea, because after this fixture against Burnley, they play against Barcelona in the Champions League in midweek, and next weekend obviously they have a London derby against Arsenal. So for Chelsea, this game is a must win, honestly, because you never know what can happen against a Barcelona or an Arsenal. So dropping points here wouldn't be a great result for Chelsea, honestly. And now going to the predictions, I've gone with a 3-1 Chelsea win. Honestly, I feel like Burnley won't be able to control Chelsea's attack. Garnacho, he's been in good form for Chelsea of late on the left-hand flank. We know how good Estevao is. He's had a tremendous impact not just for Chelsea but also for the Brazilian national team this year. He's been superb for them. And obviously you have other players like Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro, and in the midfield obviously you have guys like Caicedo, Enzo, who will obviously dictate play, and I expect it to be easy work for Chelsea, honestly. So I've gone with the 3-1 Chelsea victory. Nextly, Bournemouth versus West Ham. West Ham in the last 2 weeks, ever since they've brought on Nuno Espirito Santo, they've looked very good, honestly. I think they're out of the relegation zone as well, which is obviously a great sign for West Ham, who've been a Premier League regular team over the years. But again, Bournemouth, these guys have been quite good this season, carrying on the momentum from last year. And although a lot of people predicted Bournemouth to drop off because obviously they lost their key crucial players in Hoyson to Real Madrid, Zabarni to PSG. Also, I think they also lost Ouattara. I know he was off the bench, but it's good to have bench strength as well. So he did move to Brentford, and also they did lose Kirkes also. Sorry, to Liverpool. So meaning that's at the beginning of the season they basically had an entirely new backline, given that Kepa Arrizabalaga also left the club, who was on loan from Chelsea last year to join Arsenal, and having Petrovic in goal. But Bournemouth, they've been very good. The style of football that Iraola has brought in is superb, honestly, and he gets the best out of his players, as you can see week in week out. Players like Alex Scott have gone a level above, getting an England call up in the last international break. You have Semenyo, who keeps on getting better year by year. Clivert off the bench, Krupi, the young lad who's also been quite good for Bournemouth, and obviously you have Evan Nilsson up top, who's been decent as well. But let's see how the game pans out. Obviously, I think Bournemouth will have a lot of control of the ball, which they usually do, and especially playing at home. Obviously, I think they're going to have a lot of the possession, and given that West Ham and Nuno usually likes to sit with a low block, and usually is hard to break his teams down. But I think Bournemouth have enough firepower to um, get this victory over West Ham. So I've gone with a 2-1 Bournemouth victory. Next game is Brighton versus Brentford. This is another great game. Although Brentford haven't been great, a great outfit away from home. I think this will be an intriguing fixture, given that both of them are so close on the points table. So a win for either team would be a great one, obviously, in trying to push for a European position, maybe a Conference League position, given how close the table has been this season. But Brentford, obviously, they have looked quite good at home. They've beaten the likes of Manchester United. They've beaten Liverpool as well. So you can't count out Brentford in this fixture, but Brighton at home. These guys have been a lot better at home compared to away, and they do have great players. Given that also Welbeck, he's been a great player for them this season. He's peaked this season, although he's what, like 35 years of age, but it doesn't seem like he's slowing down anytime soon. And this season, he's had probably the best start um, to a season in his career. And also, players like Mittoma, Minte, Carlos Baleba, Ayari, these guys will be instrumental in helping Brighton get a result in this fixture. But I predicted a 1-all draw. I think it's going to be a good affair between the two sides, but I feel like it's going to be a draw because I'm not sure who to go with. I had a feeling that Brighton could get a victory in this game, but a change of thought has made me go for a draw in this fixture. Next up, Fulham versus Sunderland. This is another big game, honestly, for Fulham, given that Fulham are so low currently on the table, and Sunderland are flying, as they're obviously fourth on the points table, as I mentioned earlier. This is a big fixture for Fulham, honestly, and for Marco Silva, given that there were the rumors that he might get sacked. Um, so for him, this fixture is massive. A win here will ease a bit of pressure from him, which he would obviously love, and obviously the international break would have helped him to kind of get a thought of what he would like to do after the international break. So those 2 weeks would have obviously helped him, and obviously working with some of his players who wouldn't have gone for the international break. But as for Sunderland, this has been a fairy tale season, honestly, for them. Um, Coming up to the Premier League by winning the EFL Championship, the finals against Sheffield United, when all of them had Sheffield as the favourites, to now being fourth on the table. It's been remarkable stuff from Sunderland, beating the likes of Chelsea on the way. But this fixture, I think, because it's such a big fixture for Marco Silva, I do think Fulham do get a result out of this fixture. So I've gone with a 1-1 draw once again. But let's see. I mean, you never know. Sunderland, the way that they've been playing, you wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if they do go on to win the game. Next up, Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Liverpool, they've been disastrous, losing 7 out of their last 10 games in all competitions. And Nottingham Forest side, who have brought in Sean Dyche, having sacked Nuno prematurely earlier on, and Ange Postecoglou being the worst Premier League manager of all time. getting sacked in 40 days has given Sean Dyche the chance to make something happen with this Nottingham Forest side, which is, when you compare the Nottingham Forest side with the other sides in the Premier League, you wouldn't expect them to be in the relegation zone. So, and Sean Dyche has done a good job. You would say, obviously, drew against Manchester United at home and got a result last week with a 3-1 victory. So this game, though, going to Anfield against Liverpool, who needed the international break, those 2 weeks off, because the pressure was piling on the players as well as on the manager Arne Slot, who's had a disastrous start to this season. Obviously, it would have been a much needed break for them, and this fixture, I do think Liverpool will dominate Nottingham Forest. Usually, obviously, Sean Dyche isn't a manager who likes to hold on to the ball, build play, and all of that. He's a low block manager who prefers to sit back and hit the teams on the counter attack. But I don't think they'll be bothering Liverpool much in this game. So therefore, I've gone with a 2-0 Liverpool victory. The next game, Wolves Crystal Palace. Wolves obviously sacked their manager, Vitor Pereira, and have brought on Rob Edward. And this will be his first game in charge against the Crystal Palace side, who have been good once again under Oliver Glasner, who obviously won them the FA Cup last season as well as the Community Shield early this year, this season. And even in the Premier League, they've done well. They look good defensively, and Jean-Philippe Mateta, he's been firing on all cylinders. He's been great for them as well. Um, but I don't think this is going to be a great start for Rob Edwards, because I feel Crystal Palace have enough to get this victory at Molineux. So I've gone with a 2-1 Crystal Palace victory. Next one. This is the big game on Saturday night. Newcastle United versus Manchester City at St. James's Park. This is another enthralling fixture. Newcastle obviously haven't had a great start to the Premier League season this year. They're currently quite low down on the table, which they usually they do start off quite slow and pick up during the December times. But this season, also having Champions League could play a factor in them maybe dropping out of the European places by the end of the season. Let's see how it plays out. But this one for Manchester City is also a big fixture, given that they're 4 points behind Arsenal. They would love to close the gap to 1 point before Arsenal do face off against Spurs in the North London derby. Man City obviously, um, they'll be super happy to have a player, and feel lucky to have a player like Erling Haaland, who's been a monster. He's been a robot this season. Honestly, what a player! He's scoring goals left, right, and center, not just for Manchester City, but also for his national side Norway, helping them get to the World Cup after for the first time since 1998, scoring 16 goals in the qualifying stages in just 8 games. But I think if Man City do want to get a victory here at St. James's Park, I think Haaland will have to play a crucial role here, scoring 1 or 2 goals. But also having players like Cherki, Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku, who's been tremendous honestly this season. What a player Jeremy Doku has transformed into this season. His dribbling on point, his passing, his crossing on point. The way he's setting up chances, it's been superb honestly by Jeremy Doku, and I expect him to have a big influence in this game as well. And I feel like if Doku and Haaland fire in this game for Man City, that's enough for them to probably get a result in this game. But you can never count out Newcastle United at St James's Park. They're known to obviously have a crazy atmosphere with superb with the supporters obviously backing them like crazy, obviously, which obviously boosts them and also gives them the edge against their opponents. Even against Arsenal, it was a fixture where they almost got a result out of the game. Obviously, Gabriel did score a late winner, which spoiled their not just the Newcastle players but also the supporters' day. But this game, I do think Newcastle will be up for it. They will be. They obviously do need a big result in this game. I don't think. I think even a draw in this game is a good result for Newcastle, honestly, against a Man City side who have been rejuvenated and have been a lot better over the last few weeks. But I've gone with a 2-2 draw. I think Newcastle, they just have it in them to get a big result here against Man City. But let's see how it plays out. Next game on Sunday. The first game on Sunday, Leeds United versus Aston Villa. Leeds will be hosting Aston Villa at Ellen Road. This is another good fixture. Leeds, obviously, they've been quite good at home, honestly. And Aston Villa, they picked up form ever since the start of the season. In the last few weeks, they've gone on a great run, winning, I think, 5 of the last 6 games, which has helped them get up on the points table as well. But Leeds United, I think, at home, with the atmosphere that the supporters create for the team, I do think Leeds will have enough in them to get a result in this game. Given that they've been quite decent defensively. They've had problems attacking wise, not scoring enough goals. Although they've held on to the possession quite well, not able to create those chances with the attacking and players as well as the midfielders. But I do think the game here at Ellen Road, I feel like Leeds will have enough to get a result here against Aston Villa. So I've gone with a 1-all draw. Next up, the massive fixture on Sunday, the North London derby. It's Arsenal hosting Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, it's a heated rivalry between the two teams, one of the biggest derbies in England. But the way Arsenal have played this season has been nothing short of sensational, honestly. Not just in the Premier League, but also in Europe, winning all their games 4 out of 4, thrashing Atletico Madrid also 4-0 in one of those fixtures. And even in the Premier League, ever since that loss against Liverpool, they've gone on a great run, winning all their games apart from the last one against Sunderland, where they did draw 2-all due to a late equalizer by Brobby in the 94th minute. But I think Arsenal, obviously going into this, they're the heavy favourites. They're one of the best teams in Europe, and Spurs have had problems with their attackers, with creating chances and with scoring goals as well. I know they did score 2 goals against Manchester United in the last fixture, but they didn't create much even in that fixture, honestly. And Spurs, I know they've been quite good defensively, but obviously I'm not sure if Mohamed Kudus is back for Spurs, and without him, he's their best chance creator and a player who can make things happen for the team. If he's not available once again for this fixture, I think it's going to be rough for Spurs going up front. With players like Tell, Odebear, Richarlison, these guys, I think they're average to below average, honestly. And Xavi Simons hasn't yet found his feet in the Premier League. So I think attacking wise, it's going to be a problem for Spurs. But for Arsenal, missing Gabriel Magalhaes, who got injured on international duty playing for Brazil against Senegal, that's a big blow, honestly, for Arsenal. He's been their main. He's been a mainstay in their defense, probably the leader in the defense, the best defender for the last 1.5 years. I think he's going to be a massive miss, even not just when it comes to defending, but also when it comes to attacking in the set pieces. He's a crucial cog for them, winning the headers, either scoring or getting the ball back into the middle to help his teammates to tap it in. He's going to be a big miss for Arsenal in this game, although they do have a lot of backup with Nkapie and Christian Mosquera, who's also been very good when Saliba has been missing this season. But let's see how it plays out, because even Calafiori I think is injured and is probably going to miss this game. So I think Miles Lewis Kelly will replace him on the left in the left back role. But I think Arsenal have enough firepower. Their midfield being great with Zubimendi, Rice, um, Eze, Merino. I think Erdegaard is also going to be back for this game. And their attack with Saka and Trossard, who's been in great form, I think they'll have enough to cruise past Spurs in this game. So I've gone with a 2-0 victory for Arsenal in this game at the Emirates. And finally, the big game. My club, Manchester United versus Everton at Old Trafford. Obviously, I'm excited to watch my team play after 2 long weeks. And obviously, it's been a joyous period, I would say, for us Man United fans over the last 5 game weeks. Because we've been able to slowly move up the table, slowly gain a lot more points than we did last year, where it used to be a flip flop, win games in Europe, but come back and lose in the Premier League. It was disastrous last year. And Ruben Amorim, obviously, he did have a lot of pressure before the Sunderland game. Given that we did lose to Grimsby, obviously that was humiliating. Did get a big win against Chelsea, and we thought we could consolidate from there. But then we had a setback the following weekend against Brentford. But obviously, ever since then, we got the win against Sunderland at home, gone to Anfield and gave them a slapping. Um, beat Brighton also at home, and then 2 draws against Nottingham Forest and Tottenham Hotspur, which we should have won honestly, due to lapse of in concentration in those 5 minute period, made us lose points in both those fixtures. But going into this game, I'm quite confident. I hope Brian Mbumo, Ahmad, and Mateus Cunha, they do fire for us, and hopefully Casemiro can continue with the form that he's built this season with Bruno, who's also gained a bit of confidence playing for Portugal, bagging an hat trick in their game against Armenia. And the center and the defensive options, Maguire will be missing, so I expect Luke Shaw, Delict, and Lenny Yoro to start as the 3 center halves. So I'm hoping we can put out a good display against Everton, with obviously Senna Lomans also in goal. He's been great for United. An upgrade on Andre Onana and Altay Bayende. So I'm happy, obviously, having Senna Lomans in goal. Also, he did get his debut against for Belgium in the international break as well. So his confidence will be sky high. Obviously, United will be missing Benjamin Sheshko as well, who has a knee injury, so he will be out for a few weeks. So the question would be, will Joshua Zirkzee start as a striker, or will Mateus Cunha play as a striker with Mason Mount playing the left attacking midfield role? That's going to be the big question. So obviously we'll find out on Monday night. Obviously I can't wait for the game. I love watching Man United play, and I hope we can get a big result. I've gone with a 2-1 win for Manchester United. I'm hoping we can continue with the momentum of after the international break, and carry it on for as long as possible, honestly. Um, but let's see how it plays out. Hoping for a massive win at Old Trafford. So these are my predictions for this game week. For all the fixtures to be played this weekend, and also the one fixture on Monday. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all soon.